So this is a special extra treat here that we get to see while we're in Athol, Massachusetts. This is the museum for the Starrett Company. This is a building that is right across the street from the main plant right here, the Starrett Company. This was the building that the museum is in that we're going to get to see for the machines and the tools was a machine shop that Mr. Starrett had ended up purchasing. And they've kept it here. It's part of the property. They've turned it into the museum. They have a lot of really cool original machines and tools in here, tool displays. So let's go in there and check it out because they got some really great stuff. Look at this. Look at this place. They have everything set up running off of the line shafts, although my understanding is they don't actually operate it, but they have it all set up so that it will work if they actually wanted it to, but showing how this was in operation whenever it was set up. So they have a lot of really cool machines in here, some very, very rare specific tools or machines that some of you probably have never seen before, maybe some of you have, but let's go check it out. All right, coming into the shop here, I want to start right here because this is something that I've never seen. Now, you guys might recognize what this is, right? It's a power hacksaw. Look at the name that's on this. The Starrett Company. So they actually built this power hacksaw, and apparently they built some. There are a few in circulation, but I would imagine they're pretty rare. Notice these guys. They got a few of those sitting around. That's for you to spit in. Oh. That was for the tobacco. So that's really cool seeing. I've never seen a machine that was made by Starrett. So they got this guy right here. And then they also, my understanding is that they built this guy right here. Y'all probably recognize what this is. And if you don't, it's a shaper. Shady Sleeper Shaper. This shaper was designed and built in the Starrett tool room during the 1880s by a machinist known as Shady Sleeper. So how cool is that? So let's go around and see some of the other machines. This is a little milling machine. Nichols milling machine. One of the early small millers built in Waltham, Massachusetts. And you can see along the back wall here, they have a lot of the displays along the wall showing a lot of the classic Starrett tools, and even a display right there full of tools made by the Athol Machine Company. We'll check those out too. But I wanted to come over here and check out this little lathe right here. Now Richardson was the company that Starrett had building the combination squares, right? Correct. Okay, all right. But this is a machine that they built right here, this lathe. Very cool. And right next to it, we got a pedestal grinder, Diamond Machine Company. So that one's built in Providence, Rhode Island. Over here, we got a turret lathe. This is a Pratt & Whitney. A forerunner of the automatic screw machine. Look at that. Yep. By the way, this is Joel, correct? Yeah, you're the curator of the museum here?
By default.
This is kind of like your hobby and your...
HR, and because of that, I used to bring people in and became interested in too.
Yeah, okay.
So, and when I retired, I kind of named myself the curator and took over cataloging everything that we have. So I retired in October. So it's a project that's ongoing.
Okay,
So
yep.
I've got another probably 5 years.
Well, and he was saying he's got a lot of tools. He's got a lot of plans for the museum here, some more displays that he wants to put up and show here in the museum. There's a lot of pictures everywhere you look in here, and I haven't even seen all this stuff myself yet. We're trying to show you as much as we can because it's starting to get later in the day. Candid shots of Starrett folks, September 10th, 1949.
Some guy was riding by, said, I have this in my barn, would you like it?
This right here?
Yeah.
Oh,
I said,
really?
yes, and then what's really cool, it's my father-in-law.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, he's in that photo right
That's
there,
him
huh?
right there.
Nice. Very cool. I can't wait to dive into some of these photos and check them out a little bit more. So look at this display case. So I'm assuming this looks original right here,
Yes.
like old school.
Old school.
It would have been a display case for the tools, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Distributor.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a pantograph.
All right. This guy right here.
Yeah.
What would they have used this for?
This made the little lines.
Look at that. Make the rules.
Make the rules.
Oh, nice.
So you would coat this with a resist.
Yeah.
It would go on here. You'd move the pantograph. This would scratch into the blanks with the resist, and you dunk it in acid for an acid etch.
Okay.
So that's old school acid etch, how the rulers were made.
Okay. Much different than how they showed me
Well,
that
now
they're
it's
made today.
photochemical
Yeah.
etch and laser etch.
Yep. The time clock right here. That is very cool. All right, let's go see some more of the machines. So we showed these guys right here. So we got a grinder right here.
You got the name over here.
All right, we got the name on this side. So this is a Landis. You guys know the Landis, universal grinder of early vintage, last used in Department 38. All right. See, all belt driven from the line shafts. Very cool. So here's one of your production drills right here. So let's see what this tag says. Is that Langolier drill press?
Langolier, yeah.
Used for multiple hole drilling. So they were making these drill gauges?
Yep.
Right here, look at that. Okay. That's the first that I've noticed of that. So a lot of you guys probably recognize this. It's just a drill gauge so you can measure drill bits. And this is where they would have put this. Right here.
Finished product.
Yep, there's your finished product right there. So you got that one in the display case, right?
Yep. That one's actually finished too. You can see it. I didn't know that.
Yep. So they would have just stuck that right there. An operator would have pulled the handle here. All those drills are running at the same time and drill all those holes at once. Production. Look at the belt drive system on this guy. All right, so let's check out this guy because this is pretty cool right here. Now, what we have is a planer. This was a planer and it was converted into a grinder, like a, I believe Joel kind of called it kind of like a Blanchard grinder.
Correct. For hogging metal.
Okay, so they were using this to remove a lot of metal, rough grinding, and then once they would finish grinding here, then they would go to like a finish grind.
Finish grind.
Okay, yeah. But that was pretty cool. They call it a mud grinder. How do you pronounce that? Blaisdell? Blaisdell planer. Converted to a grinder by Starrett Mechanics. An unbeatable grinder for hogging metal using water as a coolant. How many of you guys seen a machine like this? A planer converted over to a grinder. The belt system on this guy. is very cool. All right, we got
Cincinnati.
okay, milling machine. This is your Cincinnati. That is it says a number 1.5 Cincinnati milling machine. Some of the original cutters there. Man, the cutter room over there in Starrett is unbelievable. So this is the tool room for the milling department. Like right now they're doing a lot of milling for the 98 machinist vices, but I wanted to show you just some of the cutters and setup. So you can see this arbor is set up for, as a gang set up to machine a bunch of parts at one time. But come on around here, there's just so many cutters in here and so much tooling. Vices, fixtures that are made. These are the form cutters that are made for machining the number 98 machinist levels. You have the different size cutters depending on what size level that they're machining. But that is just super cool. I can tell these have been reground because they are sharp as a razor there, so I don't want to pick them up. Many different cutters, lots of different vices that are set up ready to go for whatever application. This is a super cool room. All the cutters that they have.
Patent applied for.
That's old. A lot of good stuff in here. So this brings us to another point. So there is another example of Mr. Starrett's very first patented tool, I believe. It was his first patented tool, the meat chopper or the meat hatcher. Joel gave a really great presentation on these guys when we first came in here. And do you care to talk about that briefly?
You want to start with that one?
Start with this guy over here at the toolbox.
And I've never seen one, but it says the L.S. Starrett's patent and the date. So I'm going to say this is the very first model, and it's got the round beam.
Yep.
And then you come over here, and you've got a round beam with no raised letters. And that's going to be the next earliest.
Okay.
And then the ones I've seen the most of, it went to an I-beam here. And then there were 3 different sizes. There was the home size for the housewife, which was this size.
This size here.
And then there was a hotel one, which was a little bigger than this. And then there was a butcher shop model. And the butcher shop model was actually on a stand, and one of them you could put 2 cranks. So your workers, 2 people could crank to chop the meat. And I've never seen one, and I'd love to see one, an example of it.
If some of you guys are watching this, you might know where one's at. I'm sure they would love to add it to the museum here.
Yes, definitely.
They definitely accept donations, tool donations to the museum here.
Yep. I just got, this week, I just got another set of Starrett sockets.
Oh, so this is Starrett made right
Yes,
here?
that's
Okay.
a Starrett socket set.
Yeah, okay.
Someone, a retiree came in and had that and a micrometer he gave me just last week.
Very cool. Yeah, he's got a lot of really great tools. He's got a whole nother room that he said he could show me with some more tools, but it's we'll try to share it with you guys what we can. This display right here, the first Starrett tool, it's got some information on the first Starrett tool. So that's something that, in case you're unaware, the first tool that L.S. Starrett invented was the combination square, which is this guy right here. And at the same time, he invented the centering head, which is this guy right here, and then the protractor that goes with it as well. So before he invented that, my understanding is that all the mechanics, machinists, everybody just used a fixed square, like a carpenter square, and he found a need to come in and invent something that worked better. And you have so many different uses for this one tool right here. You can do depth gauges, angles, do a lot of different things. Beautiful displays here on some of the past tools that were made by the Starrett company. And then look at this display right here. Come off so I don't hit you with the light, but that is a beautiful display. All right, so this guy right here, can I take this down? All right, I believe this is the one that I was going to ask you about that I found used, and I wasn't sure how far back it went or how old it was.
It's hard to tell. Some of them have the date, Starrett Company, Athol, Mass, USA.
Yep.
The older ones will say LS Starrett, Athol, Mass.
Okay.
They didn't add the USA until, I think, 1895.
Okay.
So if it's just Athol, Mass, it's pre-95.
Okay.
I believe. And there's some of these that have actually the patent date on them, which would be the oldest.
Okay.
But if you go on to eBay and things, you'll see a lot of these, and they do have a premium. People like to collect these. I don't know why, but they tend to be.
That's just it's the one that I have. I think it's slightly different than this, but the one I have has a micrometer adjustment on it, so you can raise this rod up and down, just like you would a micrometer.
I'm going to show you one.
Okay. Maybe you have one in here.
No, I don't. You keep doing your thing. I'm going to find it.
All right. He's got a computer in there. He's going to go see if he can find it, and we'll go in there and check out the office there in a minute too. I want to try to share with you guys some more of the tools here on display. That one right there, it went through some kind of roller and it got smashed. Interesting. Some of the different combination squares that were built over the years. I mean, look at that guy right there. That's beautiful. Some of the cutters that were used. I've never seen that guy before right there. That one's neat. Let's just keep going around and kind of looking at some of the tools. I believe he was saying that this guy used for surveying was made by the Richardson, where they were building the combination squares for Mr. Starrett. This is a bronze half. I believe this is used for casting right here for one of the mic bodies. He was telling me that one of the really rare levels that they made, like this, which got the pattern in here, actually had LS Starrett cast inside there. So he would love to find one of those, I think, for the museum here. Look at these hook rules. Look at that. That is cool. That brass hook rule. Blacksmith's hook and handle rule. Said one of the most common questions that he gets when people come in and visit is, what is this, right?
Correct.
It's an RPM gauge. And he's got a few here on display, and there was a, oh yeah, I wanted to show him that one. Look at that one up at the top. You can see this guy right here? Look at that. They made it look like a little pistol. That is cool. And that's another one there?
Yep.
With the
wing.
With the wing on it. Very cool. That looks like a very early micrometer right there. Well, so this is the office room right here, and was this this was Mr. Starrett's desk? Correct. Okay. So this was his original desk. What is it? LS Starrett. 49. This telephone is for the shop use only. That is cool. Look at that, man. A lot of great photos in here. Oh, look, there's a safe.
We need a safe cracker to get it open.
Need a safe cracker? Somebody come in here and open it up for you? A lot of really great photographs all around here. Look at the draftsman table right here.
That's a Starrett tool.
This right here is
only one catalog, I believe.
Oh yeah.
So that is a Starrett catalog item. I'd have to look up the catalog number, but I think it was Sawyer Drawing Apparatus.
Oh, okay. So they could buy the whole desk.
They could,
Yeah.
and things that went with it.
Okay. Awesome. I saw they got a really big picture of this over there in the main plant, and this says Louisiana Purchase Exposition, St. Louis, Missouri, 1904. But that display that they built to display their tools is just absolutely incredible. Amazing, like where this went. Look at that, the Starrett Company at the top. Like, what happened to this? I wonder what they did with that, you know, where it ended up. So much cool stuff to see here. So this was a really interesting micrometer that Joel pointed out.
Admiral Byrd and in the Byrd expedition, Antarctic, with Little America, the Starrett Company supplied tools and equipment for them to go. So on their return, he sent in a mic that flew over the South Pole in the plane with Admiral Byrd, and he sent in a accommodation from the Executive Committee of the Byrd Aviation Association expressly to the Starrett Company for the enduring appreciation of the most valuable cooperation in equipping Byrd Antarctic Expedition, signed by R.E. Byrd, and then the chairman of the expedition. But there's R.E. Byrd's signature.
That is so cool.
Starrett Company's world's greatest tool makers, member of Rice Leaders of the World. Members are by invitation only. Its qualifications for membership are honor, quality, strength, and service. And it was in the early teens, 1914, 1915, and I really can't find a lot of information about Rice Leaders of the World. So if people have it and can give me some more information, I'd appreciate it. Very nice banner. I'm going to get it under glass, but for the opening the museum for the next couple of weeks, I just put it on display.
Okay. Yeah, that is awesome up there.
Well,
If you guys have any info on this right here that you can share, please let us know, and we will pass that information to Joel.
thank you.
I want to just kind of go over a few more of these tools here. I did want to point out this is another up here. This is another pattern, one of the original patterns. And I'm just going to set it right here for now because I don't want to reach up there and then drop that sucker. But I wanted to show that right there. And then there was down here, we'll show some more of these tools here. That is such a cool looking display. This is another pattern right here. It's a split pattern made out of wood hanging up there. And then it was this display. These are all tools that were made by the Athol Machine Company. Is that right?
Company. Purchased by the Starrett Company in 1920.
Okay, so they took them over. Was that to kind of eliminate some competition too, to take over that business?
He kept them open until the 50s.
Okay.
And they did do the vices.
Right, the Athol vices. Well, I think that's going to be about it. We're going to have to go ahead and wrap this up. It's starting to get later in the day. There's a Famco press. Oh, I did want to see it. So this is one of the Athol vices. Athol used to build these guys. That's a cutaway so you can see the insides of it. There's probably a lot of really great stuff in here and photos that I wasn't able to get on video, but we did want to take an opportunity to show the museum here and check out these very cool machines and tools and some of these historical tools that the Starrett Company has made. Abby's absolutely loving her time in here. She's going around trying to get a lot of photos so that we can share that on the video and in social media. But this has been such a fantastic day already of getting to see everything here at Starrett. We have a lot more to share, and we're going to be getting a lot more video of our visit here at the Starrett Company.